I remember the day it all began to unravel, though at the time I saw no signs of coming disaster. Our life together seemed perfect, a tapestry, woven with shared laughter and quiet understanding. He was my everything, my anchor, my safe harbor. We talked for hours about our dreams, our future, our children yet to be born. The world outside faded when we were together. His touch was a promise, his gaze a warm embrace. I trusted him completely beyond any doubt, beyond any question. Our love felt solid, unbreakable, a fortress against the storms of life. I thought we had something rare, something precious, something eternal. The early days were filled with a pure joy, an innocent belief in happily ever after. We spent our evenings curled on the sofa, sharing stories of our day-planning weekend getaways. Little things that built the foundation of our connection. I believed in forever with him. His presence was a constant comfort, a quiet strength that made me feel safe and cherished every moment with him. Felt like a gift, like a treasure I had found and would never lose. Then subtle shifts began to appear, like faint cracks in a beautiful painting. At first I dismissed them as mere stress or the natural ebb and flow of any long-term relationship. He started working later than usual. His phone became an extension of his hand, always nearby, always guarded. He would often say it was work demands, or a new project, or just needing some quiet time. I tried to be understanding, to be supportive. I told myself that space was healthy for us. That trust meant allowing freedom. I pushed away the tiny whispers of doubt that started in my mind. They were just my imagination. I reasoned my own anxieties playing tricks on me. Sometimes he seemed distant, his eyes not quite meeting mine, his answers vague when I asked about his day. A coldness I had never felt before began to creep into our interactions. A chilling silence that replaced our easy banter. I started to feel like an outsider looking into our own life, a stranger, in my own home. The truth arrived, not with a bang, but with a whimper, a quiet, insidious reveal that felt more like a slow poisoning than a sudden strike. I found a message on his old tablet, a device he rarely used and had forgotten to lock. It was not meant for me. A string of tender words, a shared inside joke, a plan for a future that did not include me. My breath hitched in my throat. My heart pounded against my ribs like a trapped bird. The words swam before my eyes, forming an ugly, undeniable pattern of betrayal. It was another woman, a separate life, a secret world he had built alongside ours. I read more and more, each word a dagger piercing through my illusion of happiness. My hands trembled. I felt a profound chill. Despite the warmth of the room, a coldness that seeped into my very bones. My world collapsed in that instant, crashing down around me in a shower of broken promises and shattered trust. Every memory, every shared laugh, every tender touch suddenly felt tainted, a cruel deception disguised as love. The confrontation was a blur of raw emotion and devastating words. His face pale, his eyes avoiding mine. His stammering excuses felt hollow, meaningless. He offered apologies that rang false, tainted by the depth of his deceit. I asked him why, countless times, my voice hoarse, my throat aching from suppressed tears. I wanted to understand. I needed a reason, a logical explanation for such a profound betrayal, but there was none. Nothing, he said, could ever justify the pain, the humiliation, the absolute destruction of everything I believed in. He said he was lost, confused, unhappy for a time. He said it meant nothing, truly. Yet the evidence on the screen, the tenderness in his words to her, told a different story. A story of connection, a story of intimacy, A story of shared moments that was stolen from us, from me. Our argument raged through the night, a storm of accusations and denials, until exhaustion finally settled over us, leaving behind a heavy silence, a void where our love once stood. The days that followed were a waking nightmare, a surreal existence devoid of color or joy. I moved through the motions of life. A ghost in my own body food tasted like ash. Sleep offered no escape from the torment in my mind. Every corner of our home whispered memories of him, of us, of what we once were, and what we would never be. Again, the laughter felt hollow. The quiet moments filled with an unbearable emptiness. I questioned everything. I questioned myself. What had I missed? What had I done wrong? Was I not enough? Had our love been a lie from the very beginning, my self-worth plummeted, shattered into a million tiny pieces. I felt ugly, undesirable, unloved. The pain was a physical weight, a constant pressure on my chest, making it hard to breathe, hard to think, hard to exist. I cried until my eyes were swollen and dry, until no more tears would come. The world outside seemed indifferent to my suffering, its usual rhythm a cruel contrast to my internal chaos. Slowly, agonizingly, I began the arduous journey of rebuilding a life that felt like a ruin. I packed away his things, a painful ritual of letting go, each item a reminder of a fractured past. I found a new apartment, a blank canvas where I hoped to paint a different future. A future without his shadow, without his lies. The first few weeks were lonely, filled with an echoing emptiness. But then gradually, slowly, the silence began to feel less oppressive, less heavy. I started to rediscover myself, the person I was before him, before us, before the betrayal, the person I had forgotten. I took up old hobbies, spent time with friends who truly cared, who listened without judgment, who simply offered their presence, their quiet support. I learned to cook for one, to enjoy my own company, to find solace in solitude. It was not easy. Some days the grief would overwhelm me, a wave of sadness washing over me unexpectedly. But each time I emerged a little stronger, a little more resilient. Trust became a foreign concept, a fragile thing I was afraid to touch. I looked at new people with suspicion, searching for the hidden intentions. The lurking deceit, the lessons of the past were etched deep into my psyche. A permanent scar, a constant reminder of vulnerability and pain. I knew I had to learn to trust again, not blindly, but with wisdom, with discernment. But the fear remained a persistent whisper in the back of my mind, reminding me of the cost of misplaced faith. I spent countless hours in therapy, talking through the anger, the hurt, the confusion, slowly learning to forgive myself for loving him, for trusting him, for being human. The therapist told me that healing was not forgetting but integrating the experience into my life. Learning from it, growing stronger because of it. Not despite it. It was a long road, a winding path with many setbacks. But I was determined to walk it, to find my way back to wholeness. Years have passed since that devastating revelation. The sharp edges of the pain have dulled, though they remain a part of my story, a part of who I am. I have learned that love can be beautiful and fragile, and that betrayal can shatter not just a relationship, but a person's sense of self. I have built a new life, a strong life, a life filled with purpose and genuine connections. I have found new joy, new laughter, new understanding. I carry the scars of the past, but they no longer define me. They are simply a testament to my resilience, to my capacity to heal, to my strength to endure. I may never fully understand why he did what he did, why he chose to betray our shared history, our vows, our love, But I have learned to accept that some questions may never have satisfactory answers. I have found peace in letting go of the need for closure, finding it within myself. Instead, I am not the same person I was before the betrayal. I am wiser, more cautious, more appreciative of genuine connection, more fiercely protective of my own heart and my own peace. I have learned that the greatest love is not found in another person, but in the love and respect I cultivate for myself, a foundation that no betrayal can ever truly shake.